The date carved onto this rock is December 15th, 1942. At that time, a gentleman named Libero Puccini, who was a stone carver in Italy, carved this rock. I'm in Edinburg, Indiana, at Camp Atterbury. How did this rock get here? Libero was in the Italian army in World War II, captured and brought to America as a prisoner of war, along with thousands of other Italian soldiers and German soldiers who were brought to America for prison camps. They had different camps around the world. There were camps in Scotland and England and Africa and all over the place. They basically took the soldiers far out of the battlefront. Now, Libero carved this rock, and he visited here many other times. And as well, my father was an Italian prisoner of war. He was captured in North Africa as well, and he came and was stationed here at Camp Atterbury as a camp. Now, the Italian prisoners were being so well treated here at Camp Atterbury that they actually started to get sick. The American forces were observing the Geneva Convention at the time. And at that time, the Geneva Convention, which had been fairly recently agreed to, all of the signatories agreed to rules as to how they would treat their prisoners of war. And the all prisoners were supposed to be treated the same as the captor's own army. So if the American soldiers ate steak, the Italian soldiers ate steak. They had clean uniforms. They weren't American uniforms, but they were clean uniforms. They weren't all ratty and beaten up by war and all of that kind of thing. They slept on beds with sheets in nice barracks. They had a soccer field. They had all of these amenities as prisoners. And the American forces deeply believed in that Geneva Convention. They took very good care of their prisoners, and the Italians were actually starting to get sick because of what we call survivor's guilt. They knew that their families were being just wiped out. They didn't know if they were alive or dead. The Italian soldiers, the only communication they had with their families was to send a small postcard. And that postcard said, "I've been captured, I'm a prisoner of war, I'm healthy, I'm being treated well." That's all they could say. They couldn't find out anything from their families. In return, their families, they knew, America was bombing its way into southern Italy to march through Italy. Italy was a major battle arena at that time. Then Germany was retreating out of Italy, and they were wiping out whole villages of people. So these Italian soldiers are eating steak for dinner, and they don't know if their families are alive or dead. So these guys were getting sick. Well, the American military wanted to do something to bring them back to health. And the chaplain and the commanding officer at the time decided to have them build a chapel. Now, they had a chapel on their campus at that time, but their spiritual health, as well as their morale and all of this, was failing at that time. So they decided, let's do a chapel. So the Italian prisoners built this little chapel. They built it stone and stucco like an Italian building. They painted frescoes in it. Some of them even put little drops of their own blood into the paint as a form of devotion. Now, these Italians were very dedicated to Mary, the mother of Jesus, and so they named it Our Lady's Chapel in the Meadow. And it's really very fitting because they really needed a mother's comfort. And they got that here. And when they built this chapel, they all got better. Well, this actually changed how militaries around the world were treating their prisoners on the Allied side, not necessarily the German side. My name is Guy Tedesco. My father's name was Giovanni Tedesco, and he was one of those prisoners. He actually helped to build this chapel. He was here at that time. Now, he came to America and was living it up in America as a prisoner of war, and so well treated that after Italy surrendered, my father became part of the American army and fought shoulder to shoulder with his former enemy. That says a lot. about the American military at that time. They treated their prisoners with such nobility, with such dignity. Many say that the World War II generation was the greatest generation in American history. Well, I don't necessarily disagree with them. I do agree that that was certainly one of our greatest generations. I personally like to hope that our greatest generation is still yet to come, that we still continue to learn from this example and act better and better in the future, and we become better people, better citizens of the world. So as Italy is surrendered, my father had a brother who was captured by the German forces when Italy surrendered. And now my dad was an American soldier. And so my uncle would refuse to fight the American forces for sake of possibly fighting his own brother. So by making that choice, he was actually tortured to death in a concentration camp by German army, by the Nazis. So this particular place and this camp housed over 9,000 soldiers, between Nazi officers and Italian soldiers as well. There were over 9,000 prisoners here. The camp was very large. All of these woods that you see behind you, that's where the camp was. So all we see now is woods. We may find a few foundations out there, but that's it. The only thing left standing is this chapel. Now this chapel changed the way that forces were treating their Allied forces, were treating their prisoners all over the world. They ended up, this program was such a success, and the Italians became such model prisoners after that, that there were 9 chapels built around the world, this being one of them. All of those chapels are now gone, except for this one, which was the original, and one in Orkney, Scotland. And it's a beautiful chapel as well. So as they built these chapels, the Italians all had their own artisanal skills, things that they did back in Italy, like Libero Puccini carved stone. So he carved this rock, and he carved another rock that is the main entry point for Camp Atterbury. There were other people who were carpenters and who were masons, and they used their own skills to build this little piece of Italy right here. Now, as an Italian American, I'm very proud of my heritage. I'm very proud of my father. And after the war, and the reason that I'm in America, after the Italy surrendered, my father met my mom. She was a young Italian girl, high school kid in Louisville, Kentucky. And Dad was stationed at Fort Knox. And there was a gathering of the Italian Americans in the area, and they got this Italian service unit. And my dad saw my mom across the room, and he said, "I'm going to marry that girl." 2 years later, he did. They got married in southern Italy, and then eventually came back here to America. And I have 7 brothers. We're all living, around this area, except for one who lives in Las Vegas. So anyway, this happened a lot. There are many other POWs who came back to America after the war, and that says a great deal, again, about how well they were treated by the American Army. They came to love America. They decided that they wanted to live here. So this chapel changed world history. This chapel is not just simply a piece of Indiana history or of Army history or of American history or of Italian history. This is world history here. This is a very big picture. Now, September 14th, coming up very soon, just in a month or so, of this year, we will have our 36th or 37th, I don't remember, gathering here. The Italian Heritage Site of Indiana, the Indiana Army National Guard. Right now, this is an Indiana Army National Guard garrison military post. The Camp Atterbury Veterans Memorial Association will host an event here. We will start out at 10 o'clock in the morning. Again, that's September 14th, 10 o'clock in the morning. We will have a Marian devotion We will have, say, a bit of a rosary. We will have a presentation. The Indiana Veterans Association will play taps and do a 21-gun salute for fallen soldiers. They will do posting of the colors. We will have a mass, a Catholic mass, and that is all in tradition to what happened here. So it's actually tradition to the history. Okay, so it's accurate. After we have our mass, and we will have speakers. We'll have speakers from Indiana National Guard Post Command. I will speak. The Italian Heritage Society of Indiana will speak as well. So we'll have a couple of speakers, not really long. We just say a few words. And then after the Mass and all of that celebration, we'll take a few photos, and then we will adjourn to the Camp Atterbury Museum, which is a museum very specific to Camp Atterbury, but dating through many wars, including World War II, the Korean War, Vietnam, up until present day. So this post is a very large post. There have been a lot of different very important activities for all of those wars, all of those conflicts. So the museum is really a wonderful museum. At the museum, we will have an Italian potluck meal, which I'm sure everyone can enjoy. And we hope that you will bring along a dish of your own, hopefully something Italian. If not, we're Italian, we'll eat it all. So anyway, also at that and with the museum, we will have a wonderful living history exhibit. So a group that these people are collectors of World War II, specifically memorabilia, uniforms, weapons, vehicles, equipment, and they will do an encampment. Basically, they will have probably a command tent set up. I'm not sure what all they have set up. I'm not sure if they'll bring vehicles. They may bring vehicles this year. There's one of these collectors who owns a Nazi fighter aircraft, and he brings those sometimes, depending on what weekend it is. So this will be this wonderful living history exhibit, and we hope that you can make it. And, you know, we do this not only to honor our ancestors, and especially if you're Italian, and especially if you're descended from someone who was an Italian prisoner of war or a German prisoner of war. We would love to have you here. We would love to have you see this place and see what your father, your grandfather, your great uncle, whoever it was, what they experienced. As an Italian American, I'm extremely proud of my Italian heritage. I'm proud of my parents. I'm proud of my Italian history dating back centuries and centuries. As an American, I'm extremely proud of the American military of that time, and today as well, of course. But the American military of that time, the nobility, the humanity with which they treated their captives was just extraordinary. It's something we all need to emulate. We need to know that. We need to emulate that. So we need to keep this chapel alive and well. And as you can see, it's been beautifully restored and it's in great shape right now. But we need to keep and preserve this wonderful piece of world history. So I'm hoping that you can come. I truly hope that you can come. And if not this year, then hopefully next year. We're also going to be doing a recording of the event, which we will try to post online. I'm not sure if we'll be able to do a live broadcast or if we will just post something later. But I hope you will attend, and I hope that you will enjoy this whole thing and find pride in our American military and in our Italian heritage as well.